Hey, Gary here. Welcome back. AI blogging day 2. We have some technical decisions to make before we go on and create any more content, because creating the content is great, getting it on the blog is great, but we got to get the domain set up and get it connected so Google knows that it is out there and that they should be crawling it and ranking the content. Inside of Namecheap, here we have universeunriddled.com. This is our domain. We're inside of GrooveBlog. So if we go over to GrooveBlog, if we remember where we were, we had the blog here. We'll go under edit, under settings. One of the things before we jump into setting up the domain, we need to decide if we want to publish to the root domain, and then we want to decide if we want to publish it to a folder called domain.com/blog. If we publish it to the folder domain.com/blog, then we would need to create a splash page or a landing page that has the blog role effectively or has information on there. And then we would need to link to the blog, which would work fine. But I would prefer that the blog just be the first page. So when someone goes to the blog, they land on effectively the blog role or the popular post or whatever, and let GrooveBlog control all that versus me creating a page. Now, I looked up the best SEO blog URL structure. Basically, it's just URLs that are simple, easy to read, and include keywords that describe the content. For example, wikipedia.org, everything they have is under wiki. And then, for example, if you were looking at pancakes, it would be under pancakes. So if I was to bring this down so you can see the structure in the URL bar, this is the wiki, and you can see it's the main page. Anything that you click on, for example, this article about John Hastings, you can see everything is still under wiki, and then it's listed here. Now, a more traditional blog would be Miles Beckler. It's a marketer I follow. If you were to go to his blog, he has this set up so the blog role is the category. Of course, this, if you go back to the settings for SEO, the URL category is categories. But by default, everything under the blog, if you go back to the way it's set up right now, and you go under the first blog post, every blog post is under the category post, kind of like what Wiki is doing here. Everything is a Wiki entry. I honestly don't think it matters as long as it's simple. It's easy to understand. So when Google crawls it, they'll see the structure, they'll identify it. And as long as it stays the same and you're consistent, everything will be good to go. So you go to Miles Beckler and you can see here again, he has the category for blog. But if you were to just go to his URL blog, which this would be the way this would be set up if we were to use this option, the blog would look like this. And then we would need to configure a main page to show this kind of thing. But if you actually click on the blog post, it is just the domain name and then effectively the name of the blog post or the keyword phrase. Matt Diggity does the same thing at Diggity Marketing. If you go to his blog, you can see here is his blog. So his homepage effectively is Diggity Marketing, which would be our setting, would be Universe Unriddled. But again, we'd have to do like what he's doing here, and we'd have to create a page, and you have to have information like what are you looking for. And then down here, he has most popular content. So this would typically, or this would be his, or what you would typically see in a blog. This would be the blog role. We'd have to build that inside of Groove Pages if we were doing it that way. But again, if you go to his blog, and I'm just trying to show this for completeness so we make an informed decision, you can see he's doing the same thing here. But in our case, there's going to always be, like what Wiki is doing, there's always going to be this wiki or blog post. I don't think you can get rid of that. Now, over at 30-Minute Marketing, this is built on WordPress using Thrive themes. I have a landing page for 30-Minute Marketing that has my lead magnet. And then for my blog post, what I did is I created /blog. But one thing that happened and I messed up or I sort of got this messed up, is I have 30minutemarketing.net, and then I have /blog. Then I have category of blog. So I created a slug /blog for everything on my blog post. But then I also created a category named blog. Again, Google understands this. It is the structure. They crawled it. They get it. You know, they understand what I did here when I said blog. You know, I did this in 2017. This was the recommendation that I got, or the information I was reading. This was the best practice on the information that I was reading at the time. So that's what I did. But again, it all works. It doesn't really matter as long as it's clean, as long as it is always following the same structure. So for example, if you get rid of this and you save this, see, it says it is required. So you have to put that in there, and that is what they have chosen. So we're going to go ahead, and I'll reload that just to make sure that works. We're going to go ahead and just stick with it. And then basically all of our posts will be under post. But back here under domains, we're going to set this up, but we need to set up a domain. And to do that, I don't know. Yes, you can click here and you can go under domains. If you go back to your dashboard, or if you're in any of the apps here, Groove Pages, Groove Sell, whatever, or you can just click on your settings and billing, and then you can go right under your domains and manage. It's all right here. We're actually going to add this domain. So like I said, this is some technical stuff. We need to take care of it. So we're just going to knock it out because we also need to connect this to Google. It's going to take some time. Like I said, I want to show you everything, and I'm going to do my best, but you may have to just fast forward through this if you already done this or know how to do it. But we're also going to be doing some clicking and see how this goes. We have the full domain setup, or the subdomain setup. This is recommended for a brand new or unused domain. Of course, legacy domain setup would be here. We're going to go ahead and skip that. Enter the URL of the domain you would like to add. We're going to go ahead and add universeunriddled.com. Make sure we take out that space. We don't have any other spaces in there. Go ahead and say next. Then then Groove is going to tell us that we need to connect our domain. So then we need to copy these, go back here, and we need to customize our DNS. We need to put in that option because on the back end, Groove is using Cloudflare, which basically the whole internet uses these days. And we're going to go ahead and save that. So now what's going to happen is the DNS servers are going to update, but it may take up to 48 hours. Here we connected this domain. We're going to go ahead and say next. And then it's going to validate, or we're going to need to validate this. So we're going to click on validate DNS records and initiated. Check back again after an hour. Domain added successfully. Your domain has been connected successfully. Now you can manage the records. We'll go ahead and complete the process. And you can see here, it is still pending verification. So this is going to cut that part short. And of course, then we'll pick back up. But before we leave, don't leave, because what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to still make the primary Groove pages. That way, if you scroll down, and this is the Universe Unriddled blog post. If you scroll down, you have the privacy policy and the About Us. I still want the ability inside of Groove or inside of this blog, when this goes to, of course, it's universeunriddled.grooveblog.com. This is going to land on universeunriddled.com. I still want that capability to be able to create pages under that root. So I'm going to make, and I think this is going to work, I'm going to make Groove pages the primary application to give it the power to create pages. But then if you go to universeunriddled.com, it will redirect you to the GrooveBlog based upon the settings inside of GrooveBlog. Of course, we'll have to come back and verify that. So I'll go ahead and click over to GrooveBlog and show you real quick again what I'm talking about. If we make the primary DNS setting inside of the domain controller or the DNS settings of Groove, if we make it primary for Groove pages and we publish here to the root domain by selecting the domain, we'll publish the blog to the root domain universeunriddled.com. But under the SEO, it'll be the post. And then we'll be able to create these pages, privacy policy, about us, any kind of marketing pages that we want to create, any kind of other page under the universeunriddled.com domain that we want to make sure that we set up and provide as much, in the eyes of Google, authority, or EEAT, expertise, forget what the other E stands for, authority and trust. Then we have that all under that primary domain that, again, we're going to set up here under domains, under custom domains, and it's still pending the verification. And then, of course, that is with Namecheap right here. We set up, and that pointed Namecheap to Cloudflare, and in the background, Cloudflare is connecting with Groove, and Groove is taking care of all that inside of our DNS settings here. So back to what I wanted to show you and talk about as far as content creation. But go over to ChatGPT, and I'll leave a link to the video that I saw this, because I actually got this from Matt Diggity, this dude right here, his YouTube channel. He did an entire blog, which actually gave me part of this idea. He did an entire blog with AI. I'll link to that video so you can check it out. I'll also link to the video where he gave me this information, and that's the information that I had. What he talked about in the other video was creating topical authority. Topical authority is when you write about the same thing en masse. Like you literally create everything, every question, every topic, every angle under a specific topic, and you create massive authority, topical authority under that concept, under that category or that topic. This was the prompt he gave me, or the prompt he gave everyone on his YouTube video. Give me semantically relevant but unique topics under the main category of, and here I entered space because that is the main category based upon the rank IQ information that I'm using, or the niche, quote unquote niche, that rank IQ that I found under rank IQ. And this gives me additional topics or additional ideas to go along with what we saw under rank IQ. And I'll go ahead and log into that as well so you can see that. But you can see, give me 30 semantically relevant but unique topics. Then you can see it literally lists these topics. Now this topic would be for the niche that you're doing. And obviously you're not going to do the niche space because I'm doing that. And you're not going to try to step on my toes and take all my work. You're going to do your own, right? So the idea here is you take these 30 relevant semantic topics, and then you pick the first one, because remember, these are 30 relative topics to the category of space. So we're going to take the formation and evolution of our solar system as one additional category, or one semantically relevant, meaning that it is on the topic of space, and we want to cover all 30 of these topics. And then the next prompt that I got from Matt Diggity was, now give me 10 different keyword variations of the first topic, the formation and evolution of our solar system, that addresses a different search intent. Now, here are the searches that people would be searching for. 10 of them. These are the blog posts that we're going to write under that, for lack of a better way to say it, category of those 30 categories that we got, that topical authority list that we're going to build content on. So we would do 10 of those for this one. Then we would do 10 of those for this one, 10 more for this one. And it's going to give us a new list, which is 10 more blog posts or 10 more questions we're going to answer. But there was also another hint. And then I said, let's go back and reduce each of the 30 semantically relevant but unique topics under the main category of space down to 3 to 5 word links. Here you can see now it's reduced it, and it makes a little more sense when we're thinking about categories and the way that we would think of creating category slugs in our blog. We may or may not do that, but right now we're going to shorten that to solar system formation. If you were to go back, you could see it was the formation and evolution of our solar system. If I scroll back up for completeness, this was the first prompt here. You could see that it gave me these longer sentences. I took it down to 3 to 5 words. You can see this is the exact same list. They're just shortened. So then I came back and I said the same prompt. Now give me 10 different keyword variations: solar system origin, planetary formation, process. But you can see what happened is it took my 10 questions that it gave me from the first prompt, from the longer results, and it just brought them down to a small keyword phrase that people would be Googling. But then I actually did another prompt to say, turn these 10 into questions that need to be answered. And then it gave me 10 questions. And then if you scroll back up, you'll see that it did that for me when I just left the actual categories or the topics in that long form format. So again, ChatGPT AI, of course, ChatGPT, and we're using Koala to write some of these blog posts. And some of these for sure, I may just feed directly into Koala and see what I get and build a category separate of what I'm doing with ChatGPT. Because inside of RankIQ, you can remember here, I'm using RankIQ and those keyword phrases that RankIQ has provided inside of the report. So that's where I'm getting the phrase there. That's using their content analysis and then creating the content based upon the ranking post based upon this tool. But I only get 12 reports a month. So I'm going to run out of reports. So I'm going to fall back on this. And then I am going to take that into Koala. And I'm just going to go into Koala Writer using GPT-4. And we'll do this in the next video because this video is getting kind of long. What we'll do at that point is then we'll just take this question and we'll copy that. And then we will paste that in here with that target keyword. Then we'll decide on tone of voice and all that. Professional, excited, formal, casual, humorous. I kind of went with that Nickelodeon style, if you remember in the first blog post in video number 1. Also did some more AI stuff here with asking it questions, basically using my AI buddy, my AI chat buddy to sort of brainstorm. Do these 10 questions fall under the category of astronomy basics? The reason I said that, obviously, is because over at Universe Unriddled, you can see that what I've done is I've set up a category called Astronomy Basics as my first category, and that's what I'm basing all those on. And then you can see here, yes, these 10 questions can be considered to fall under Astronomy Basics as they cover fundamental concepts and knowledge related to the formation and evolution of the solar system. Understanding these topics provide a solid foundation. Then I said, dig a little deeper here with me. Would there be a better category for those 10 questions? And then it actually came and it said, yes, you could create category solar systems origins or planetary formation. Now check this out, solar system origins. And I think even I may take it to the point where I may ask ChatGPT to give me categories based upon these prompts, because you can see solar system origin. So these could be categories. But the second question, planetary formation process, was another category. So I think Astronomy Basics is going to work. And again, if you go back to the best SEO blog structure or URL, if you give it, or if you give your structure, if you structure your blog with an idea of this is what I'm talking about, Universe Unriddled, the mysteries and questions that people want to know about the universe. They come here, they land here. I create a category, Astronomy Basics, and then when they're in that category, they stay in that category and they assume everything about the basics of astronomy. As long as I stay on topic, I can create that topical authority for my blog using that one category that I made up, instead of diving into and trying to create all these little mini categories, especially when you're first starting out and you want it to just be a niche site. And then later on, then you can start categorizing and drilling deeper and really play with that and figure out how you want to get all that done. Now, again, this is waiting and pending verification. So one thing that I do want to do is I'm going to go over to the account that I created for Universe Unriddled. So I got universeunriddled@gmail.com. This is the way I like to do it. I know that you can link all these under like one account, but I like to create a Google account and then I like to call it something in this case, universeunriddled@gmail.com. I was able to grab that, and I'm going to create a spreadsheet. And in this spreadsheet, and I'm not the best at spreadsheets, I'm not even going to lie about that. I want to keep a track of all my blog posts with the blog post URL. So for example, copy that title, copy that URL, and then go back. And then what I want to do is I want to keep all this information organized. And then I can use it for tracking. I can also use it for interlinking. Like when I start writing these blog posts and I look at it, and I may ask also ChatGPT to help with that. Take a look at these blog posts, this information, something like that. I haven't gotten that far yet, and that's the power of the 100 days that we're going to discover together, all the things we can use. But what I'll do is I will keep this information in a spreadsheet to do my best to stay organized. And you can see here it actually copied the link, and I could unlink that because I don't want that linked, honestly. And actually, I may go ahead and insert a column to the left here and leave that blank because I may put something else in there. For example, this was written by ChatGPT, right? And then like if I write one with koala, then I may say this one is koala and keep track of that. And just any other pertinent information like the current ranking, or do I have this linked, yes or no? And just sort of fill out this spreadsheet and call this Universe Unriddled Blog Tracker. Blog Post Tracker. All right, so this is for blog posts. I could create one for pages, or obviously you can add a new tab, right? Like this could be the blog post. And again, this is just going to be the way that you track and you maintain information in your mind. Again, I'm not the best at this when it comes to this kind of thing. I spent 30 years in IT, and we typically had someone that maintained documentation, and we would just give them information and they would make it all pretty and put it in a repository, and they maintained a lot of that. So I got really lazy over 30 years, typically relying on someone to maintain that type of documentation and keep it all in track. So I have a bad habit of just trying to remember everything that I'm doing. So again, we looked at koala. We looked at rank IQ, and I talked about like how that is going to, or how we're going to use this. They have their content optimizer as well. We looked at that in the first video. Do believe I covered everything. It is pending verification. Oh yeah, going back to what I was talking about. So the spreadsheet, remember this account is Universe Unriddled. So what I did as well is I grabbed the name for the YouTube channel because, you know, I like to start with YouTube. I prefer to do YouTube. That's the way I did Publisher Report. That's what I teach inside of the Affiliate Accelerator, inside of affiliating. The top strategy, when I show people the top strategy, it starts with YouTube to get traffic. But what I did is under customization, what you can do under the basic info, you can name your channel, but you can also get now they have the unique handle. So only one person can have Universe Unriddled. So I now own that. I own that property. So speaking of that, next thing we'll be doing is setting up Google Analytics. So we'll be logging in to Google Analytics, and we'll be setting up that here, and we'll be establishing and provisioning, I believe that's what they call it, Analytics Web Provision. So we'll be setting up and measuring and making sure that our site is connected. Universe Unriddled is connected to Google Analytics. Also, we will set up Google Search Console. So we will set those all up. Again, underneath here, we'll have to set the domain. So we got to make sure that we get our structure the way we want it before we do any of this. So we'll set up Google Search Console. We'll set up Google Analytics. And that is all going to rely on getting this verified. Then when we get it verified, we'll get the DNS and the structure the way that we want it. Inside of Groove, everything will be cool and good to go. Then we can start throwing that content in there. We'll get Google linked up with our blog over on GrooveBlog inside of our Groove account. And we'll be off to the races. And that is AI Blog Day 2. Day 1 is in the playlist. Check that out if you started here. Day 3 will be in the cards when I get that linked up, and of course when day 3 gets here. Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying this. If you are, give it a thumbs up. Any questions, ask them in the comments, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.